She really called the police and on my dad for grilling in our own backyard. What she didn't know, he owns the property, all of it. And when the cops showed up and heard the truth, let's just say Karen didn't expect what came next. So my parents recently bought a house in this quiet suburban neighborhood. You know, clean sidewalks, trimmed bushes, kind of place where the grass is almost too green. But behind that perfect lawn was a nightmare neighbor named Karen. She called herself the HOA enforcer, but spoiler, she wasn't even on the board, just a loud voice and a clipboard. It was a sunny Sunday. My dad rolled out his smoker, fired up the grill and put on some ribs. Just as the smell of barbecue hit the air, Karen came stomping across the lawn. "You're violating HOA fire codes," she shouted. "Grilling is not allowed unless it's an electric grill." My dad? He laughed. He's a veteran, owns the home outright, and literally checked all city and HOA guidelines when he moved in. My dad told her politely to leave the property. But 10 minutes later, sirens, yep, Karen, had actually called the cops. She claimed there was an open flame violation, public disturbance, and get this, a possible illegal tenants. The cops walked into the backyard and confused. My dad calmly handed them something. Karen didn't expect a full ownership deed. One of the officers looks at Karen and says, "Ma'am, this man is on his own property. There's no city violation. And grilling? That's not a crime." Karen's face? Priceless. She turned red and started backpedaling. I just thought, I was protecting the neighborhood. The cops actually warned her for misuse of emergency services. They told her, this isn't how HOA enforcement works. Turns out Karen was not an elected HOA official. She was just a volunteer who made up rules and handed out fake warnings. After this stunt, multiple neighbors came forward. She'd tried this before. Reported a kid for sidewalk chalk. Threatened a guy over a basketball hoop. Claimed one woman's garden was unauthorized landscaping. My dad filed a formal complaint. The real HOA board apologized and stripped her of all volunteer access. A week later, my dad threw a huge BBQ for the whole block. Neighbors brought drinks, lawn chairs, and stories. Karen stayed inside the entire time, watching through the blinds. One neighbor raised a glass and said, "Thanks for standing up to her. We've all been waiting." Here's the thing, HOAs aren't evil, but misuse power is. If someone tries to intimidate you with fake rules or threats, know your rights. Check the city codes. Look up your HOA charter. Ask questions. If my dad had panicked or left, it would have just encouraged her. Instead, he stayed calm, pulled out the paperwork, and let the truth shut it down. If you've ever had a Karen HOA story, drop it in the comments. I read everyone. And trust me, we've got more. Like the time she tried to fine someone over Halloween decorations. So hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next HOA Karen episode is even worse.